The overarching theme revealed in the episode description most definitely lived up to its title, My Brother's Keeper. And this title is more or less referencing the bond that is developed between Andrew and Oliver. We really didn't have any characters out of character on this one except for elder mother Agnes, and you'll find out why as we move further into the review. Let's get started. Paula and Lacey were definitely the heroes in this episode. So all three of them, Paula, Lacey, Zane, were in the kitchen preparing breakfast. And Lacey and Paula definitely had their minds set on leaving. And Zane says that she's not going, as usual, right? And she did wish them well. And during their little conversation, the elder mother Agnes entered the trailer to check on them just to see how things were going. And not too far behind was elder mother Marva, and she's a little jealous because she's going to have to eventually show someone else, like one of the girls, how to prepare the food for the highest. Both of the elder mothers agreed that it will be Lacey to help out because of her rank there on the compound. And then Zane chimes in to save Lacey from leaving because that would definitely ruin their plans to escape. So they agreed to let Zane come in and help out. And when they left, Paula and Lacey moved forward with their plans to escape. And I really have to applaud these ladies because they actually moved forward with their plan. Well, at least they tried to, and we'll discuss what happened a little bit later. As they're leaving to get in the car, Paula uttered the three words that a lot of us have been wondering about for months. She said, "What's that smell?" So someone finally smelled Lilo's decomposing body. And you know we can't have a progressive scene without Daikon popping up. He pops up from behind the trailer and wants to know what they're doing. Then they quoted that infamous line that everyone else uses, "We're going to the bathroom." And Daikon didn't buy that lie, so then Paula said that they were coming from the kitchen from taking charcoal for her throat. Then Daikon took them to the punishment trailer to be punished. Like, Paula, if you're gonna tell a lie, tell one that's not gonna get you punished. And now Andrew is also popping up behind trailers, and he wanted to know what was going on. Daikon told him to get back to whatever he was doing, and then they left. Then at the sheriff's station, Sheriff Conley calls Mac to let him know that Brian was on his way to the compound and that he also wanted Brian off the case. Sheriff Conley told him how cocky and rude Brian has been, and Mac said that he talked to Brian. He then called Brian and told him to turn around, go back to the station, and apologize to the sheriff. Now we're back at the compound, and on the way to the punishment trailer, Daikon went and reported the girls to Elder Mother Agnes. Elder Mother Agnes jumped up and slapped Paula and ordered them to go to the trailer, but it looks like Daikon had the same idea in mind and then ordered them all to go to the punishment trailer. Ruth and Tally couldn't help but overhear the argument taking place 10 feet away from them. They both realized that if Paula and Lacey are being punished, that they may just reveal to Daikon that they also want to leave. They decided to finish the dishes up later, and they went to see if they could stop that from happening. Then we see Daikon went in to interrupt the highest meditation to tell him that Lilo's car is still on the compound. He sent Clark to get Joan, and then he invited Daikon to sit down and have breakfast with him, and Daikon is blushing because this hasn't happened in a long while. Then we cut to Cynthia and Lynn. Cynthia came over to apologize for how their conversation went the last time they were together. But to her surprise, she discovered that Lynn slept with Malcolm 2 Easters ago. Or is Lynn just telling her this incredible story so that she can be alone to do drugs again? This is what Cynthia is suspecting. And this is actually the same pattern that we saw in Lynn right before Brian went back on assignment. And this would all be believable, right, had Lynn not told Cynthia what Malcolm was actually wearing Easter morning. And she also told her that she kept his underwear. And this triggered Cynthia's mind to think back 2 years ago Easter, and she actually remembered asking him where the drawers were. Then we cut back to the highest and Joan, and he's asking her about Lilo's car, and she told him that Oliver said that Lilo got a ride and that she assumed that he'd be picking his car up a little bit later. She told the highest that the books were coming along just fine, and when she left, Daikon told Tyrone that he deserved a new Rolls Royce and running water. He thinks that it's unfair that they're the ones doing all the work but receiving almost nothing in return. And the highest is a little offended. He don't want nobody criticizing his paradise. And as Daikon is telling him that he deserves more, we can clearly see that the highest is progressively getting more irritated. He thinks that Daikon isn't happy with the way that he's living. Then we see Oliver reporting back after he was instructed to kill Andrew's wife. He noticed Andrew sitting at the table polishing his G.I. Joe gun collection. Guns he never used, by the way. He told Clark that Sarah wasn't home and that he needed to talk to Daikon. He walked in and told the highest that his assignment had been taken care of, but we just heard him tell Clark that she wasn't home. But one lie that Oliver is very consistent with is telling the highest that Lilo got picked up and left his car there at the compound. Then we see Brian giving Cynthia a call, and she tells him that Lynn slept with Malcolm. Brian said that he didn't believe her and that she was only trying to shock Cynthia, but Cynthia told him that she noticed something was off and that Lynn filled in all the blanks, proving that she did in fact sleep with Malcolm. And we see Elder Mother enter the kitchen where Ruth and Tally are preparing lunch. She thinks that it's horrible that the girls would steal charcoal that was meant for the highest. This must be some magical charcoal. Ruth and Tally tried to convince Elder Mother to talk to the highest on behalf of Paula to try to spare her punishment. And again, we see them trying to stop her from spilling the beans on the plans that they all have to escape. Tally told Ruth that she was wondering why they don't bring the children to breakfast anymore. Ruth told her to focus on escaping and not to focus so much on not seeing the kids. Then we see Malcolm stopping by the house to pick up some clothes. Now look, he already know that Cynthia is not falling for that at all. And apparently, while Sarah is in the car, at least that's what he alluded to when Cynthia asked if she was in the car. So again, here we're unsure as to where the heck Sarah is. She told Malcolm that she knew about he and Lynn, and he told her that Lynn is lying. She wouldn't let him grab any of his clothes, and he said that he'd just come back when she's not there. Okay, guys, here is where we can end all the speculation about what happened to Sarah. Andrew stepped into Oliver's trailer and he went in to ask him why Lilo's car was still on the compound. Oliver began to ask him to admit to him who he really was. He wanted to know if Andrew was FBI. Andrew then confided in Oliver and told him that he fake killed Sarah and mocked up the murder scene photos. And with Oliver knowing this, he figured that he'd need to do Andrew a favor. And Oliver pretty much knew that if Sarah wasn't dead, that they would kill Andrew. He then told Andrew that he went to his house and shot Sarah while she was in the shower. And Andrew was in such disbelief like the remainder of this scene after he told him all of this. Then all he could do is sit on the edge of the bed and cry. That's all he could do. Boy, I tell you, Andrew is really going through it on this compound. And we'll get more into that in another episode. Then in the next scene, we see Elder Mother Marva. She's going to see the highest, but Clark wouldn't let her in. They threw insults between each other, and Elder Mother called him a yellow liar. She said he's ugly and that his mother didn't want him. Elder Mother is a mess. Then in the final scene, we move to the punishment trailer with Paula, Lacey, and Elder Mother Agnes. She's very, very upset with them over this charcoal. She's yelling, she's screaming, and fighting. She started slapping them both around and told them that she can slap them whenever she wanted, as much as she wanted to. Then Lacey was like, okay. Then she grabbed her, wrestled her to the ground, and then Paula joined in, and they both choked her to death until she actually stopped moving. End scene. Overall, this was a great episode, a very interesting build up to the other two episodes that I'll review a little bit later, so stay tuned for those. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're a Ruthless fan, go ahead and sub to the channel because I do videos like this all the time. I'd like to thank you for joining me on this episode of Ruthless TV, and I'll see you in the next one.